never able to get the United States to understand me. I was never able to get them to work with me, which is so essential for Liberia. No president of Liberia, no president can make it successfully unless he is online with Washington. Now, I am not the type of guy that you can pick up a telephone and command. I don't take that. I didn't take that from Washington. Then, even if I were elected president, I would not take it. I'm not that kind. I'm not a coward. But I do believe that a good working relationship is essential for any president of Liberia or that president.
Sense of gratitude and humility. It has been an honor and a privilege to serve as your president and commander in chief for the past 6 years. Together in 2018, we embarked on a journey to build a united, peaceful, and prosperous Liberia. And I am deeply thankful for the trust and support you have bestowed upon me and my administration during my tenure. As we navigate the complexity of governance, your partnership was instrumental in the development and implementation of policies and programs that aim to bring progress and development to our great nation. Reflecting on the accomplishment of these 6 years, let me tell you that I am proud of what we have achieved together. We have built roads, supported free wires and free tuition at high schools and public universities, stabilized the macroeconomic challenges we face in 2018, built hundreds of pro-poor housing units, and achieved on so many fronts that we are able to list here today. However, I acknowledge that there is always room for improvement, and perhaps more could have been done under different circumstances. Regrettably, some of the long-term projects we initiated did not reach completion during my tenure. I am hopeful that the incoming administration will carry the torch forward and bring these initiatives to fruition for the benefit of all Liberians. Fellow compatriots, rumors and misinformation have played a large part in our politics over the last 6 years. It is my hope we as a country will overcome this challenge over the next 6 years. To begin this, we must start with the facts of the transition. I must report to you that we are leaving behind a better economy than we inherited. Today, President-elect Joseph Nima Bouaka will inherit a stronger economy than I inherited. There is a bigger net international reserve position than was handed me in 2018. I inherited 94,999,000 United States dollars in net international reserves. And I am handing over to the next administration a net international reserve position of 222,700,000 United States dollars. This is 136% increase in the net international reserve position. The total cash balance in the government's consolidated account is United States $40,044,365.90. In 2018, my government inherited a consolidated cash position of $7 million United States dollars. The next administration thus has more resources to deal with emergency macroeconomic challenges than my administration had at its disposal in 2018. My fellow citizens, through our time together, I held still fast to two cornerstones of leadership: keeping the peace and upholding the democratic process and the root of our democratic journey. I am immensely proud that during my tenure, Liberia remained at peace with itself and at peace with its neighbor. Our armed forces, the force of good, will never turn against our own people, and the standard actions were confined to international peacekeeping mission under the United Nations. This peace, sustained by our own domestic resources, is a testament to the maturity and strength of our nation. We protected the inalienable rights of
these ad hoc tribunals. He was appointed U.S. Ambassador at large for war crimes issues. In support dynamics, that is West Africa. Second, tie any financial and political support to good governance in Liberia. time does not permit, but the exhibits are present. Not even the Nigerian nation was spared from threats and intimidation, as explained by Femi Kayode, press secretary to President Obasanjo, the Nigerian head of state, who was with him in Washington when President George W. Bush promised, and I quote, to bring Nigeria to its knees if Taylor was not turned over to the special court. And what happened? Obasanjo buckled and capitulated. Now, this demonstrates the significant pressure that was brought to bear on President Obasanjo, irrespective of his personal and leadership obligations to the West African sub-region. And therein lies the dilemma for current African heads of state and government, but how to enter into binding commitments and obligations with the African pairs and remain steadfast, resolute, and unyielding in their fidelity to those agreements in the face of such unrelenting and punishing pressure from powerful ones.
One more freedom for one more freedom for when they welcome me, they say they were freedom fighters. When they welcome me, they say they were liberators. But when they kill their crown, they change their mind. When they kill their crown, they change their mind. What kind of people they so?
They are freedom fighters.
What kind of people they so?
They are freedom fighters.
You freedom fighter, you raping our women.
They are freedom fighters.
Freedom fighter, you killing our children.
They are freedom fighters.
Freedom fighter, you destroying our country.
They are freedom fighters.
Ayo, 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 ayo.
Oh yes, what a beautiful Wednesday that all of us can embrace regardless of the weather. I know the roads are slippery, but it still presents another space, another opportunity for us to interact via these microphones on the issues that concern us as a country and as a people. So let me say a very, very pleasant good morning to all of you across the country. Good morning to those of you in the diaspora listening to us or watching us. Our friends, our fans, our followers, our critics, and even those of you who do not like the things we say and the way we say them. It's good to have all of you joining us this morning on Freedom Morning Rise. Platform that sets the stage to drive your day or drive you through your day. Oh yes, the big news is in country, and everybody is talking about the legislature, all cameras and recorders, microphones are attention to the House of Representatives. Only yesterday we had the spokesperson for the House of Representatives and the spokesperson for the Speaker of the House. Just as they were exiting our studios, the agenda for the House surfaced in the public, and we saw a communication from Grand Jida County Representative Jacob Debbie requesting plenary of the House to have Deputy Speaker Thomas Fala retract his statement and apologize and be made or be subjected to an investigation for utterances they deem inappropriate, condescending, disrespectful to the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Richard Coon. We can look into that and see where all of this may be going or may be leading us to. Whatever the case or the situation is, it's just a lot to talk about.
I'm a freedom fighter. I'm a freedom fighter. I'm a freedom fighter. I'm a freedom
We hear that so on the weekend, Abraham Kuman was appointed to head a committee that will ensure or lead the enforcement or demolition of all illegal mining sites across the country and ensure that everyone who wants to engage into our mining sector is fully in compliance with our standing rules. We can look into all of these issues on the Wednesday. Today is July 1, 2026. My name is Austin Kawa. Abu Sharif is here. Together we are going to drive you straight up to 10 o'clock. So just 5 minutes to 9 o'clock, we will hear from the Student Unification Party. They too have a stake in our governance process, and we have called them here to come and share their thoughts, their observations, their views about the state of affairs of our country. So the team will be led by Audacious Moba, who is chairman of the Student Unification Party. And that will take us straight up to 10 o'clock. The stick and stay. We take a break to take a few words from our partner Scrum Stepper Liberia and DAS Foundation, DAS Polytechnic, sorry.
Hello. I want to talk about violence. More violence is indiscriminate. It can happen for any reason and to anyone. Until we do something to serve the sort of vigilante-style justice in this country, none of us will be safe. My Liberia is Liberia of hope. In my Liberia, it is possible. Violence is not part of my Liberia. Violence leads to property damage, injury, or even death, as we are seeing in recent months in several parts of Liberia, including Monrovia. Talk to people in your community about violence. Stand up against mob justice. Be a community hero. Liberia is all that we have. We must all unite to uphold the rule of law. This is Old Man Sam Sanya, your community crime fighting partner. Thanks for listening. This is Old Man Sam Sanya.
Hey, have you heard the good news for high school graduates, job seekers, and scholars? Professor D. Ansusoni Polytechnic, an institution of higher learning, is proud to announce admissions for the 2026-2027 academic school year. Whether you're passionate about education, technology, business, healthcare, or social development, we have the right program for you. Our 2 years associate degree program prepares you for immediate employment or advancement for our 4 years bachelor's degree program. We offer comprehensive facilities, including equipped science laboratory, computer center, advanced digital library, and everything you need to learn comfortably. Special discount promotion. First 30 students get free registration. So, rush now. Entrance runs from July 3 to the 31st. Limited spots available. We are located at Virginia Hotel Africa Road, United Community, opposite the Conference Center Junction. Call us now. +231 886 544 887 +231 777 738 077. Visit our campus for a tour. Don't miss this opportunity.
Okay. Thank you. Welcome back. Abu, good morning.
Good morning. Good morning, Austin. Let me say a pleasant good morning to our listeners out there. It's been a week, so to speak, ever since we embarked on a task that we thankfully executed. Thanks to the Almighty God that we went and were able to do just exactly what our assignment was, and came back to the country. And ever since, we actually needed a few days to rest. But again, the public has been demanding and asking. It was just taking a little rest, and, and I don't know if it's sad or what, but we came down with a bit of a bit of malaria that we also needed to deal with, you know. But it was a wonderful experience out there, and I'd like to commend the National Executive Committee of the CDC for reposing the confidence and trust in us, and also to all of the others that helped media sources, my media colleagues, that worked with us very well to ensuring that we coordinated the narrative in a positive way that reflected the kind of optics that we actually needed. And so that didn't happen alone. Thanks to all of the guys, from the different network. It was a very busy working session all through the week while we were there. In fact, we started from here and then we went there. So it became great. We came back, not many, very minimum friction. The purpose of the program went and then it captured for the period, and we saw all of the different knee-jerk reactions and all that. We think it was a good one. And so, yes, it's good to be back. And I follow all you while away. I think you did a great job. And so it's good to be back. And of course, to pick up from exactly where you stopped. I listened to the menu, very interesting ones. And, the debate at the Capitol building is a good one that we need to look at. It keeps going back and forth. It keeps going back and forth. But it also sounds good that subsequently the deputy speaker had to apologize, but yeah, maybe his apology was cool, but we could look at it from the political, lens, especially looking at the fact that one thing you can argue, there is a presence of power struggle in the House of Representatives,
Exactly.
whether you like it or not. So, Fala's apology, what does it do for him in the mix of the power struggle? Does it earn him, a kind of advantage, or it diminishes his advantage? Because there's been a fear factor around Fala as well. There's a general, acceptance within the ranks and file of the Unity Party that the president is a tribalist. So Fala enjoys that upper hand, be a kissy man. So this apology exposes to his rival the degree of vulnerability that exists with Fala. So I don't know whether Richie Kuhn has the capacity to explore that, in an intelligent way and achieve and protect his leadership. But anyway, we could talk about it more. But yeah, it's been good. How's Monrovia been with you too?
Well, Morovia has always been treating us well, and yes, we feel a part of the problems and the solutionist as well. So it is always our expectation that we will all share the problems, critique them, and then find a way to fix them.
How about the drugs thing? You're not arrest somebody. We stay. What kind of word they use? The
transactional investigation.
Yeah, yesterday on the transactional investigation.
So yesterday I was telling the was it the year or something? Yes, yesterday I was telling the audience that this 19 million thing, even though we've earlier announced our partnership or our willingness to work with the DA to support the work they do there, because it brought us around, all of us survival. But this other 19 million thing, the way it is being handled, a 4 hour more say. We don't even know what to say now.
You already know what
But
to
I think it's beyond. I think it's a matter that is beyond just the DA. I think it's a matter that concerns people within the executive mansion, people within people within high profile who occupy high profile jobs and the job proximity to the president are trying to arm twist or squeeze. I mean, the
Why
realities in some corners.
is that what you want to believe
That's what
now?
that's what I know, and because there's some things that we may just not want to, say on the radio, but I know this is a matter that is beyond the control of the DA, and I'm
So
not too sure.
DA is not in charge.
The officer in charge. The officers in charge. Last time I were having a conversation here
But you
about
say beyond their control.
beyond from the political standpoint, the DA does not have the political protection
Oh, really?
to independently exercise effectively, proceed with these kinds of complicated investigations. So you see, the matter is being politicized. Interests are all, they're vested interests, and most of these individuals who have connections to, who are connected to the 19 million thing are all connected to people within the corridors of the executive mansion, and and the Unity Party too as well.
Wow.
So it's a major challenge when you hear senators. I listen to Senator Vabla, Senator Dillon. They know the real information. They know the secret. The Minister of Justice has briefed the Senate's leadership, the House's leadership. So some of those UP lawmakers are in disagreement with the manner and form in which the some people want to shield those who are actually connected, to this
But
matter, and that's
it's
going to be a
almost 1
problem.
month later before the UP lawmakers are sounding as if to say they're in the public.
Yeah, I think there are two reasons that I can easily deduce. One is that, take for example, if I support a political party, I will obviously want to, lay my hand on. I want to have a clear understanding of what the issues are before taking side that may seem to be going against my political institution. But once the reality settles before me, like what we used to do here, I remember we talked on Makode on number of occasions here about the NTA thing. I remember we talked on Maxwell Kimaya when he was Minister of Foreign Affairs on a number of issues here. But it took us time to take those positions because we needed to understand that, what the real issues were, and draw a line between whether it's propaganda coming from the Unity Party or there's some sense of realities associated, with the subject at hand at the time, and we can go on. So normally, supporters of political parties might want to, wear these moods when these sensitive issues arise, in the public. So I think that's what they adopted. Now that they are aware of the realities before them, whether they play in the devil's advocate, whether they are sincere to their consciences and all of that. But I think the level of pressure from the opposition community may be also responsible for the manner in which you see them now pressuring the government, the Ministry of Justice, to at least brief them. Initially, they were like reluctant to know what was really happening. So I
Okay.
think the opposition did a great job in sustaining this debate, the pressure on the government. That to the extent now we see that ruling party lawmakers are coming out to join opposition figures to say, "Hey, enough is enough. We must take action. We must know who are those connected, and then what the names must be revealed. We must name them, investigate them, indict them, and prosecute them, and ensure that they face justice."
So yes, what I think about Vapila and Dillon's outburst. I think it's belated, and I believe it's only intended to probably try to uh, face safe, and it's important for Liberians to know because I don't want to see them as partisans. Really, I want to look at them from a leadership standpoint. These are national leaders and their legislators. The oath they so to occupy those offices, right, was an allegiance to the republic. And the cocaine scandal is a dangerous attack on the integrity of our country, and of course, a dangerous discussion of the reputation of Liberia, that any national leader who set aside partisanship or partisan expediency and speak to the issue and demand the real answers. Ever since this thing happened, the facts were glaring. Yes, credit to the opposition, and of course, credit to some of us who insisted that, look, your attempt to want to make this thing to look like, oh, you know, that national, how you made drug thing, you say that national issue, and everybody, you know, you're my leader one. We're talking about drugs affecting our compatriots, damaging our country's reputation. You can't say, oh, you know, we can't talk about it this way. We gotta leave it like that. When the facts were clear, the exhibits were there, right? And then the national security, I'm told, right? The investigators, I'm told, about a week or almost 2 ago, briefed the Defense Committee of the Senate. They have the facts. They're aware. So why did it take them all of that time to start to demand? And part of the agreement with the investigators was that in order not to leave room for speculations, we want to agree that you'll be regularly updating the nation. So because the people have failed to do that, that's how they're trying to use that as a window now to try to make themselves hero or heroine out of the situation. No, you all are part of those that betray the country, betray the purpose for which you were elected, and the Liberian people must know you for that. Everything you're trying to do here is just trying to save face and trying to make yourself as if you're some kind of, you know, advocate after compromising on the interests of the people. If you know it, that you mean it as a leader of this country, and that you will not compromise Liberia for anything, not even your political party, you should have spoken, and it is not too late for you because you have the facts. The guys are supposed to be providing updates. They're not providing the update. Inform the country. Inform the country. You're protected by law. Instead of shielding, you're contributing to shielding drug peddlers in the country. And then you come, oh, you know, they think me are running rehab center. There's a, hey, come on, man. With that thing there, we can't fall for that thing. So at the end of the day, at least we are again vindicated. We who insisted that we will remain challenging the government on this, as the evidence were clear, and the fact that in this kind of high-profile cocaine burst, that the justice system will be moving at a snail pace in the investigation, signal, right? The fact that the perpetrators are being covered by VIPs, and this is what the government has got to face. And this is what the investigators have to be man enough to speak to, and let's lay this thing to rest.
Okay, so let's listen to. I want to play you this video about
citizenship here in the United States. That the Supreme Court has just released its ruling on the future of birthright citizenship here in the United States. That right has long been guaranteed under the 14th Amendment, but President Trump has been waging a battle to limit birthright citizenship to children of U.S. citizens or permanent residents. Let's get straight to ABC's senior Washington correspondent, Devin Dwyer, who covers the Supreme Court for us. Devin, for more than 100 years, the rule has been simple. If you're born in America, you are an American, and it looks like that won't change.
That still stands, Kira, after this landmark decision. Chief Justice John Roberts writing for the majority of the court that the 14th Amendment means what it says. The text of that amendment passed after the Civil War to extend citizenship to former slaves and their descendants is still the law of the land. If you're born on U.S. soil, you are a U.S. citizen. A major rebuke to President Trump, who had pushed for this executive order to take effect. It has come before the court twice. He attended oral arguments in person to look those justices in the eyes. And today, Chief Justice John Roberts Roberts, leaning into that opinion from over 100 years ago, 1898, the last time the Supreme Court looked at this issue, and he said that precedent is still our precedent, and it is the law of the land, Kira. A big win.
So, you know, there's a reason why I decided to play this, because I think the proximity to Liberia has huge interest in the U.S. citizenship debate, because there are many Liberians here who have sought citizenship in the U.S. There are some who are experiencing, who are affected by the Trump's executive order issued, attempting to deny immigrants, who go to the U.S. and give birth there, citizenship to their kids. And so this matter has been languishing in the before the U.S. Supreme Court, and over the past hours, the Supreme Court ruled that upholding the 14th Amendment to say that the law still stands, and if you were born in the U.S., you are automatically a citizen of the United States. You know that people. I watched one of his videos where he said those Africans, they leave their countries to come here and they give birth. They want to come here and born their babies here and give birth here, and born their babies here and born their babies here and leave their babies here and assume our citizenship and go back to Africa and all of that. So Trump has been having some fundamental issue with that. But unfortunately, he has lost this one again. Abu, last time I checked, you were a fanatic of Trump. Trump's, okay, let me say Trump's policy. But he has lost this one again.
I think fanatic is a hard one. I do not subscribe to fanaticism. I have never been one. I do respect policies and ideologies and see them at a given time. I give opinions on them. That does not equate to fanaticism. So I think I understand that. Right. But on this one, the way I like to first of all look at it is today is the 1st of July, right? Yeah, I think today is the first year. So today the DED status of over 4,000 Liberians expired. And the president of the United States, President Donald Trump, has yet to issue any proclamation extending it. So over 4,000 Liberians stand the risk of being deported as we speak. Until President Trump can issue a proclamation to extend the DED status and all that, that's a deferred. The thing, my man, Abdullah Kyatamba used to be the thing that made him popular. So the deferred enforcement departure. So now with the expiration and Trump's own anti-immigrant approach, I mean, it's something for us to worry. You spoke about proximity. This 4,000 plus we are talking about is more than 4,000 actually. There are families here that depend on them. There are people. These are some of them are mothers, their fathers, and blah blah blah. So it is a sad day. It's a sad reality. So we ought to pray. We ought to wish them well, and keep them in our prayers so that probably President Trump will consider extending the DED status of our compatriots there. We believe a lot of them have been very positive and resident in the United States, have been contributing to the United States economy in many ways, right? In spite of whatever we believe this kind of mass deportation, our country is not ready for it. In fact, our government has not even been having conversation about this thing. That is one of the weaknesses of this Bouaka administration, right? Our citizens inside Liberia are being threatened and affected. The president and the government remain silent, and they play politics and propaganda. Our citizens and compatriots outside of Liberia are being affected and threatened, even those in South Africa, right? You know about the xenophobic thing that's going on yesterday, right? And so on. Liberians have been crying there. We see no practical effort on the part of the government to intervene in these things. And that is a disappointment. That is a serious disappointment. So, to the Supreme Court's action on the birthright citizenship, what I want to draw from there as a Liberian journalist is the victory for democracy, the victory for an independent judicial system. When the judiciary acts independently, it becomes a win for democracy. It becomes a win for the rule of law. And this is a lot that Liberia can draw from it. I hope our judges, our justices can look at this, and that no matter how authoritarian a leader becomes, the law must be the law. The decisions of judges, right, and justices must conform to the laws. Do we see that in Liberia under Bouaka? No. Bouaka has manipulated the justice system. He has bypassed Supreme Court rulings. He has bypassed, decisions from the court. Look at what is happening with Samuel Tuer case. Should that be happening in a country that preach or that speaks democracy? Absolutely not. So, what is happening in America has just further exposed Liberia, especially how we are distancing ourselves from the actual nuances of a democratic republic that respects the rule of law and respects the justice system and allow the judiciary to function independently.
So I received
one minute. The president does not want people, immigrant, for example, or people coming from different countries, born in and just having automatic citizenship. The president does not subscribe to that. But at this point, the law has reminded him that no, there's a law here, and the law does not operate by what you, the president, that's being authoritarian. And no, we do not practice that here. So similar things will happen. This is a challenge to our judges. If the president say, Tuer has been acquitted, and I don't want Tuer to be acquitted, right? The judge must insist. The judge must insist, and they must be brave. The independence must be there with the judiciary to insist that this man has been acquitted. And you bring all flimsy and how you call it, tempering thing that you can't even sustain. Our country is going down. It's terribly going down. All these are clear examples. 4,000 Liberians are going to be deported. One statement has not come out from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Liberians are trapped in South Africa, threatened by xenophobic attack. One statement has not come from the presidency nor the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. So what are we in mess?
So I received this communication is this clearance from the Bassa Camp Public School in Swamaka District. Official clearance. The who see themselves way out of the urban areas and they need access, they need attention, they need their voices to be elevated on these platforms. And so I don't know the person, but they forwarded a clearance to me, and it reads it's about the Ministry of Education requirement for graduation fees. So it says, as per the academic calendar, let me read. The administration of the Bassa Camp Public School wishes to inform you that your child, student, I will not got the name, has satisfactorily completed the academic work of studies for ECE as prescribed by the Ministry of Education of the Republic of Liberia, and is therefore eligible for graduation for 2025-2026 school year as per the academic calendar of 2025-2026. You are to pay the amount of $3,500 as ministry's charge. as ministries charge fees for graduation to the office of the registrar beginning May 6, 2026 and ends June 15, 2026. So you could see the time frame how they have been struggling to get this information across. The deadline has passed already. The graduation is scheduled for July 4th, 2026. Requirements for graduation, boss, scales, everything right here. So that school way there in Swemaga district is charging $3,500 as graduation fees in total. And also see Abdullah is the whole the entire stem cover the name. I see Abdullah S. Sanyon as the registrar, and I see Vanny V. Tyler signed as the principal. The Vanny Tyler name here sounds familiar. I know the Tylers good from Birmingham. We grew up together. I hope it's not one of them. But yeah, let's talk a bit about building small, Abu, and then we can move on to I'm sure by that time the chairman of SOUP or the delegation from SOUP will be here. You know, it was last week when, in fact, 2 months ago, but we've been having conversation behind the scenes in all of our chat rooms about the plans to remove the deputy speaker. And on last week, I just decided to post because I know that the action was going to take place this week, and I know that the deputy speaker may not even have the chance to be called deputy speaker at the July 26th celebration. If he attends that celebration as deputy speaker, then I just want in there that go. You know, so we made a post on last week, Thursday, that next week a big government official was going to go down. And there were a lot of calls coming in and text messages. A few people were adopting, and most of them were calling Gafwan. So I was like, is this how many people hate Gafwan in this country? Why people want Gafwan to go down? I was like, why do they think Gafwan should go down? Why do they want him to go down? But again, that's the politics and all of that. But the point here is that Fala finds himself in a mess. The deputy speaker finds himself in a big mess. And this morning we'll take our time to, draw out the mess, give you a picture of the mess that Fala finds himself in. And if he gets all of that, I will crown him. I personally will certificate him and crown him as the doyen of legislative politics in the Republic of Liberia. The network, if Fala gets all of this dreadneck, I will crown him as the doyen of legislative politics in Liberia. Fala have been able to find himself in a lot of trouble over the time. The first thing, there's a sign that there's a minority blog that stood with former Speaker Funati Kofa. We all know the entire story about Fala, so let's now, bore you with the Fala story, the role he played in the first ousting of Councillor Kofa. So Fala became Speaker, and he started to engage in a lot of activities. There were allegations from lawmakers that Fala had been eating their money, Fala had been cutting their money, Fala had been cutting their allowances or immunities. A lot of allegations about financial malpractices with Fala. But that has been cooking quietly. In some cases, I'm told they will go to the Speaker. Speaker Kun will try to intervene and all of that to quiet down. And the situation continues with lawmakers complaining of Fala eating their money.
Is Fala the Ways and Means?
And then the Ways and Means committee falls under Fala. He provides direct supervision over him. So all activities of the Ways and Means pass through him.
That is by their rule.
That's by their rule. So expenditure, revenue, component of the budget, allotment, budget approval, all the, everything.
So he can go ahead to cut people
So he goes.
benefits.
So he goes ahead.
Without the speaker.
So father goes ahead and try to eat people money, cut lawmakers no money. Lawmakers have been complaining. Even their legislative project, go to father, father tell you go to list, and father will create a lot of bureaucracy around lawmakers receiving, not receiving their money or having their money cut. So those of us who have friends in the legislature, especially the House, who have been confiding in us this information. The next issue they've been having with father is they believe that Thomas Father is controlling almost everything, and the speaker was just like doing little or nothing to exercise or assert his responsibility or his role as a speaker, to take charge of everything. And they believe that the fact that the speaker allowed father to run the show in the legislature, father was using that as an opportunity to disenfranchise or to humiliate them in some cases, or deny them access to their legitimate, allowances or immunities in the house. The gas, they will come. Some of them will not get their full quantity of the gas that they're supposed to get. They go to father, my man, go sit down, my man, all this kind of stuff. The next issue is within the Unity Party. In Bon County, we're told that father has also come in problem with Prince Moi. Father is supporting Edward Kafia in Bon County to be senator against Prince Moi. This first issue. Father is also supporting James Colette against the interests of Prince Moi in Bon. So James Colette and Kafia, they've all been working against the political comfort of Prince Moi. Prince Moi says like the male godfather in the Unity Party and all of that. He has a lot of young people that he controls. He has influence, not control, but influence over, which we're going to name and state here. So seeing father supporting people like what you call him, James Colette, people like someone like Kafia, all working against the political interests of Prince Moi. People like Prince Moi say no, they think I didn't see what it's like. We have to act. We have to reduce the power and influence of this father man. We go to Lofa County, you realize that in Lofa, the Internal Affairs Minister wants to get re-elected. Mind you, the current Internal Affairs Minister was defeated by Thomas Fala. He wants to recontest the election against Fala. Obviously, he will see Fala as a potential threat against his return to the legislature. His influence and relationship with the president is strong. Remains strong. I'm talking about the Internal Affairs Minister. The Internal Affairs Minister's influence and influence in the government and relationship with the president remains strong. So it places the Internal Affairs Minister in a position to easily coordinate, mobilize, and rally support against the influence or the interest of father in the government. In a very low far, Siafak Poto, I hope I got the first name correctly. Siafak Poto is also a representative in Lofa. It is told that Fala is supporting Siafak Poto in Lofa against the interests of Clarence Masakwe. Clarence Masakwe also wants to contest in District Number 3, Lofa County. Siafak Poto is being supported by Fala. Clarence Masakwe sees Fala's support to Poto as a hindrance, as an obstacle against his returning to the legislature. So, Clarence Masakwe Jones, Prince Moi, Francis Yimale, and the likes of all the lawmakers in the House who consider themselves victims of Fala's influence in Lofa and in the legislature. So That's you see how the army is building. You look at the network of Clarence Massacre, obviously you see the names like Muali will pop up from the Unity Party, Cornelius Crowe will pop up from the Labour Unity Party, Amos Sword name will pop up from the Unity Party, Warwick Bryan name will pop up from the Unity Party. So you have the whole list of allies to Clarence Massacre that will obviously stand to protect and defend his interests anyhow he wants to protect his interests against Fala. So just by the presence of Clarence Massacre joining their team, along with Prince Boy, they've been able to attract all of those people who can stand in the UP and say, we don't want a man, we can support him. We don't want him, we can support him, because if we support this man, it means all of these people who are our original or traditional allies will definitely, be affected by Fala's influence. So let's get that. Let's support our allies. Clarence Massacre joins the show. The Gafan picture comes in as well. It is told that Gafan wants to be president. But how can he be president if President Bouaga is contesting 2029? It is also told that the Unity Party folks have prepared Gafan and placed him on the sideline, on the bench, as the perfect replacement for Mr. Bouaga, just in case he cannot stand for election in 2029. It is also told that Fala sees that as a threat. Gafan also sees Fala as a threat. Because if Fala is in Lofa with his influence, Gafan too wants to be president. Gafan knows that Fala cannot support him to be president in Lofa, because Fala too has his own ambition. And it is said that he's aligning with the Vice President Jeremiah Kun to form NAMO. So for all of these things happening, everybody with their vested interests from different points in their alliances and relationship and everything, Fala now goes to radio. Already his impeachment or removal was already strong. Then comes in the vehicle issue. We're told that after every 3 years, the lawmakers are supposed to replace their vehicles. And this day, it is said that these are all reliable sources from within the corridors of the lawmakers. These are not Stavros information I'm giving you. So these are information that can be verified, and lawmakers will confirm to you. So last week, Fala went to the speaker. I told the speaker, I suggested to the speaker that we are about to procure vehicles for lawmakers. Gee, we can go to China. Instead of giving these people $45,000 to buy their vehicles, we can go to China, procure the vehicles for these people at the cost of maybe between $23 and $25,000. Go and get duty free on the vehicles, bring it in, turn it over to GSA, mark those vehicles, and then supply the vehicles to lawmakers. We'll be able to save at least $16,000 to $17,000 from the budget. And the lawmaker said to me, Richard Kun said, no, my man, I said, go tell the people. If you tell them, you want me to tell them, I can tell them. He said, no, you the speaker, you go tell them. So Richard Kun went and posted the information and told the lawmakers that this is what the deputy speaker is suggesting. What you guys think? At that moment, it increased the anger amongst the lawmakers to the extent that even I'm told the initial 37 persons initiated a resolution to have Fala removed as deputy speaker. Initial 27 persons initiated a resolution to have Fala removed, because they were convinced now that everything that Fala has done against them, he is still seeking to deny them the $45,000 that is normally given to them each for their vehicles. They see that as greediness, they see that as wickedness, and they believe that they can no longer trust him, sit under his gavel, or work with him. 3 days ago, the speaker posted in the House of Representatives chat room. 3 days ago, the speaker posted in the House of Representatives chat room a memo. And that memo was signed by Prince Representative Prince Cornea of Bon County. Representative Cornea is the co-chair for the PAC. And my good friend Clarence Guy is the chair for that committee. That memo was instructing all committees, the revenue, expenditure, everybody, and informing lawmakers that moving forward, all financial transactions must pass through the office of the Speaker and meet the approval of the Speaker before it is effected. Let me repeat. The Speaker issued that memo. If he approved the memo, Prince Cornea signed that memo, and the Speaker approved it, and he shared it in the House of Representatives chat room. That moving forward, all financial transactions must pass through my office and meet my approval. Now, some of them might want to ask, but why Clarence Guy did not sign? Because we're told that Clarence Guy could not sign because he is seen or viewed as a boy to Thomas Fala. Thomas Fala, man. So no, the co-chair will sign, I will approve it, and we will share the information in the chat room. So the chairman did not sign that memo, the co-chair signed. And that memo was posted in the House, in the HOR chat room. Initially, the way it used to be done, all those transactions used to pass through the office of the Deputy Speaker. The Deputy Speaker will review them and approve them and take the delivery of everything and then do distribution to the different committees that are supposed to distribute to lawmakers. So everything was passing through Fala office. Money, allowances, gas, just everything was passing through Thomas Fala, and then distribution was going on. At this point, Richard said, no, everything will pass through my office now. And yesterday, I asked the question of the director of press and public affairs. His response was, assuming that was the case, it speaks to the fact that the Speaker is concerned about checks and balances. It speaks to the fact that the Speaker is concerned about ensuring transparency and accountability. So looking at all of these compounded issues, and then Fala now goes to sponsor and question the Speaker, question his leadership, question his ability, question his capacity, question his experience, talking about his personal activities and all of that. That propelled or presented a reasonable space. And lawmakers think that presented a reasonable space to act decisively. With all his ambition, with all of the news about the Deputy Speaker wanting to eating his colleagues' mornings and cutting their gas slips and all of that, creating anger, attempts or move to reduce their proceed to procure the vehicles for lawmakers and pocket the remaining money, something that the Speaker allegedly refused to comply with. And then with his ambition and his support to a lot of lawmakers or representatives in the different districts against the interests of influential Unity Party members, they all think that it is time for Jack go sit on one place. Let's run our government. Your influence is too much, it's too huge. You got two options. You either take charge or you leave. If you can't take charge, then we will take charge. So the UP now has decided to take charge. So Sekou Kane might just likely be the next Deputy Speaker in the House of Representatives. There's a recast budget that is supposed to be submitted to the House, the legislature, to cover off or to make some adjustments for the incoming quarter, the third quarter of the budget, which begins today. And so that recast is supposed to go to the House for action. And normally, the Deputy Speaker presides over, coordinate the committees on waste, means, and finance and all of that. So they don't want him to preside over that budget. They believe that he should not preside over that budget, so they have to take a move urgently to ensure that he's out, and then they can submit that budget. Now, there's a takeaway here that I will indicate. At the end of the day, it validates everything we've been telling you about the legislature, especially that house. You see, the issue that when I don't consider Yeke somebody who is just supposed to, but Yeke have been saying some things, not other emotion, but they've been realities. The legislature has not been, especially the house, has not been working in our interest. It has always been about their interest. Once their interest is not met, they go after. You will never hear lawmakers removing speaker or deputy speaker because he didn't allocate money to District 17 or District 14. Because he refused to increase the budget to procure medication. You will not hear lawmakers beating on the speaker or the deputy speaker because they invited the Minister of Health to show cause why she should not be held in contempt for not providing a budget outing, 2 budget outing reports. January to March, March to June, May to June, 2 budget outing reports have not been presented. You will not see them moving to take these radical, drastic actions against members in the executive. Because when you see the way the executive spend our money, if they can be able to account, to justify, to show how our monies were expended in the education sector, in the health sector, in the agriculture sector, by the budget outing report that they are supposed to submit for review by the PAC.
Okay.
All these things will not be happening.
And see what
Because
I think about.
Because once you have lawmakers playing their exercising their oversight responsibilities effectively, Liberia will just be making progress. They're not removing Fala because they hate Fala. They're removing Fala because they love Liberians. They want to remove Fala because they see Fala as someone who is working against individual interests. Clara Masagawa interest is at stake. Francis Yemane interest is at stake. Prince Moi interest is at stake. Who else again? The UP interest is at stake. Individual lawmakers, their interest is at stake. So let Fala go. But at the moment Fala decides to comply or work with them, everything is okay now, everything is good, everything is settled. The same case with Fonati. People said to some of us, man, that Fonati, man, let Fonati go. Fonati sit down and allowing Mavico Mavico running the show and all of that. And so we get that for that thing. Oh, the speaker, the Fonati is supposed to buy me car, and he didn't buy me car, and he bought other people car, so let him go. Today, Fonati is out. The legislature still remains unaudited. The legislature is still struggling to upgrade just on infrastructure. We're still having conversation about the same issues that we spoke about from 2006, from any time to now. All those issues are still revolving. But these speakers, pro-temps have been removed. Lawmakers have been voted out. But we're still having the same conversations. So this is not about you.
So
the only reason why some of us may even support some of these things, the only reason why some of us may even support these things is because either on political line or your personal view, your personal interest to some of these actors in the process. Because if the actors are at that stage, and supporting their personal, their individual interests, what do you, the ordinary people, do? I'll close by asking this question. Removing Fala, how does removing Fala affect you, ManCC in? But ManCC will be happy that Fala is removed because Fala led the CDC, Fala betrayed the CDC. How does removing Fala affect you, Princess Talu in District 12, because you'll be happy that for Fala to be removed because what? You see Fala as a threat to the Unity Party. So the person in Bonkale supporting Prince Moyi will be happy for Fala removal because they see Fala as a threat to Prince Moyi's interest. And the list goes on. The people in Lofa District 3 will feel happy for Fala being removed because they believe that Fala is working against the interests of Clarence Massacre. It's all about interest. It's not about country. Now I would say we can't keep, Mr. Cummings can say, we can't keep doing the same thing over and over and again, and we expect different results. The results will be the same.
Okay, so I've listened to you, I think, for well over 35 to 40 minutes, and see what you know and what you think is happening at the legislature, which is a fun one. And I'm not sure if I'm really going to go into the inside of some of what Austin revealed as to what is happening in the legislature to a larger extent. But the place I want to bring us Liberians to is, I want to bring us to the point where we understand that there is a general breakdown in leadership in the country. Validation. A breakdown in governance, you have a breakdown in leadership. You have, like Mr. Kumi said on the CDC anniversary program, you have partisan extremism replacing good governance and nationalism. You have replacing responsible and decisive leadership. And this is where I want to bring Liberians to. Let's forget about, they won't say you won't buy me car, they won't that, blah, blah, blah. Those are trivial matter. The law requires that car should be bought, right? But what is enabling the breakdown in leadership is what we have to look at, and then we link it to, right, whatever is the root cause. What is enabling breakdown in leadership in our country that every Liberian must be urgently concerned about is the fact that partisan extremism, go and defend that war. For all of those who are unacceptable of Fala in the ranks of the Unity Party, they are peddling partisan extremism. They're not looking at Fala as a Liberian, as a leader, as a representative who has, for whatever reason, decided to give some degree of support to their government and their president. They're not seeing that, but rather they are insecure because of the partisan extremist nature. Anything that's not Unity Party, no matter what you contribute, they will not welcome you, and that is dangerous. There is no way you can pacify it. There is no way you can pamper it. There is no way you can mesmerize it. Absolutely not. Right? In our country. Then, for the Fala group of people, they are rested on Bredo Trapper bigotry as the yardstick for whatever national authority or command that they must enjoy in the bailiwick of governance, which is also terrible, which is also anti-democratic. So now, who is enabling all of these? The president. And I always like to bring my conversation to the president because the greatest mistake we made in this country was to make Baraka president. And I insist on it. I'm never going to pacify that. I'm never going to retract that. I'm never going to do whatever. It is the fact. He has downgraded our country into tribalism and extremist partisanship. And this is why we are having all this breakdown. This is the reason why the finance minister has to feel insecure, right, for Jeremiah Kun, right, who is constitutionally the successor to the president, to remain there unable to succeed in the event where there is a replacement opportunity. And he thinks he has to rally extremist radical UPS and build a kind of tent against the vice president in the same government. Are you imagining that? In the same government, and they're doing that. And somebody think we got to look at that, right? That's what we have. That's exactly what we have in the country, right? Fix the tribal bigotry and the partisan extremism that you've brought in the country. Fix those ones, then the law will take its course on ensuring who's supposed to get XYZ vehicle gets it, who's supposed to get XYZ for this gets it, and that people will not be subjected to partisan loyalty, right? Before they can get what they can get. People will not be subjected to be to kinsmanship before they can get the space that they need. That is the leadership breakdown that Mr. Boakai and his Unity Party, Cabral, has not addressed, but rather they're scapegoating and they're introducing all sort of diversionary, distractionary, and things. That is the fact. The country is in a mess. If it was not because of these two verses, I mean, I'm not yet convinced whether there were any genuine reason for the removal of former Speaker Kofa. The only reason I can wrap my head on because people did not see him as a partisan of the UP, that no matter what, no matter his education, no matter his ability, and to lead, no matter his reform approach, no matter all the good things he wanted to do, but by the fact that he was not a Unity Party person, he has to be removed. So what does that say? It validates my qualm against the government of peddling extremist partisan and correctness within our body politics, right? Number two, if Speaker Kofa was a kissy man, right, he would have enjoyed the protection under the tribal, nature of the presidency and the government. So he is now a kissy man, so he lost that. He's now a Unity Party man, so he became vulnerable. So you see, these are the judgment. These are the terrible, undemocratic judgment by which Mr. Boakai is leading the country. And it's dangerously alarming. It is alarming. These are verses that drag Liberia into the seeing them here. They're walking on the streets, affecting people daily, and governance is being daily, and people think they got to be at this. Who enable Mo Ali or Cornelia or whoever they call themselves, right, to want to lead or run our country on the basis of extremist partisanship? Who enabled them to do that? That's not what the law required, right? Does that form any ground basis for which a deputy speaker or a speaker should be removed? Absolutely not. So I come to the main issue about what is going on in the legislature. And what is going on is not happening because of now. It happened when the president endorsed, financed, sponsor, right, the removal of a legitimate speaker through illegitimate means, right, that was also invalidated by the Supreme Court, and the president opted to go against the ruling of the Supreme Court and supported the rebellious removal of Funati Kofa. From that day, that entire horse lost its essence. This is by far, right, the most disappointing House of Representatives that we have received. And others believe this is by far the most corrupt House of Representatives, intolerant, undemocratic, corrupt, and unfit for purpose. That's what we have. And that legislature was introduced by Mr. Boakai and his government sponsorship, the same UPS extremists, right? They sponsored that and they broke down our legislature, and this is what we have today. So after all of those breakdowns, the horse is basically not running by law anymore. It's running by the whims and caprice and by the feelings and that justify partisan loyalty or alignment and all that. So at the end of the day, you always expect these things to happen. So not Kofa, but Fala and Kun have been moving together. They removed Kofa, and the both of them have been there. But ever since, right, the excesses of Rachel Kun is known to almost everybody in the legislature and in the House of Representatives. All his colleagues know that he has deficiency, he has weaknesses, his leadership is not constructive in the sense of being able to tactically and technically put people together and all of that. So he has lost that. So the only thing he hangs on is a unity party extremism and the fact that he always gives in anything that comes from the executive, he let it through. Anything, any blunder from the Ministry of Finance, he let it pass and all of that. So he'll enjoy a degree of protection or support from the Minister of Finance, right? So that has been the case. And it has been rumored that Fala has gained lot of leverage and power within the House. And that to a point where people say, some have the belief that Fala is the de facto speaker for the fact that Richard Kun is not in charge. He doesn't even know how to be in charge. So the situation at the House is one described by one of our friends as a House that has two individuals, the speaker and the deputy speaker. The deputy speaker, who is Fala, right? Characteristically, Fala is being described as a man with tyrant nature who hates dissenting opinions. People who have been in the cycle of Fala, he always want to feel like, correct and supported anything and all that because he feels he has everything, he has this, he has knowledge. That is tyrannic in the minds of others. Why Kun, for the most part, ever since he assumed as the regime speaker, has demonstrated that clearly he lacks the ability to manage anything. So, for the lack of a better word, he's a kind of puppet seated there, managed by the tyrant who hates dissenting opinions. So, when Fala Richard Kun does not have the dexterity enough to stand the ground, right, to take decisive actions against Fala to remove him. That's what you see yesterday. Fala issued an apology, a kind of watered down on the sentiments that were coming and all of that. Now, it was established that the actions of Fala on Spunto were ingredient to the standing procedure or order in the House currently under Richard Kun. The cases, right? Collins from Bapolu County was made to apologize. Jacob Dibi was made to apologize, and others were made to apologize, right? Yake Kolba refused to apologize, and then they acted to remove Yake Kolba, right? Ordinary citizens outside of the bailiwick of the House of Representatives have been compelled. That is the intolerance of the current structure of the House of Representatives. So Fala went as a national leader, speaking to national issue, and then that becomes a crime. And Richard Kun wants to remove Fala for that, right? My point is, these things are always exposing the fact that what is happening in our country is a misrule. It's a complete misrule. And nobody should be misled to believing that any semblance of responsible democratic leadership is happening in Liberia under Boakai. Not yet. Maybe they still have time. They could make some adjustments and all that, right? The horse that should be there to provide check and balance, right? To ensure that people are accounting for whatever meager resources that are sent to them. Look at the education sector. All the complaints are coming from there. Nobody's doing anything. The health sector, right? Look at the danger of flood that's coming around. The disaster management agency has been predicting dooms. Our horse is still there fighting among themselves. The speaker feels insecure. The deputy speaker feels targeted. And he wants to fight back. And all of these are happening back and forth. Right? Now, what happened yesterday? Before yesterday, Fala was feared. Fala was feared because Fala is a kissy man. 2, Fala has financial wherewithal. Fala stands to bank road most times in that place. So he was feared. Thirdly, Fala recent proximity to the presidency earned him some degree of fear among even Unity Party lawmakers. Even Kun started feeling insecure. You all remember the launch of Nemo, right? Where the president, Boakai, gowned Fala and bestowed honor on him, recognizing him for everything the men and women that sacrificed for Fala from 2017 to 2023, right? They everything. Not a day Fala, Mr. Bwaka has ever recognized them with a handkerchief. Handkerchief. Then these people are sitting, they see Fala gets gown. It's not about the gown, but the symbolic interpretation is what the likes of Newman could not sit back and watch. It's what the likes of Prince Moy could not sit back and watch. It's what the likes of Gafuan could not sit back and other small extremists or radicals in the UP can talk about the more Ali then category there, right? That's why they could not sit back and watch, right? So when they retrospect, they say, for example, in Humane case, Papa, we stood with you from 2017. Our lives were in danger in Foya against a man who sponsored everything against us, right? And today, even if we are trying to be inclusive, but to the point where our sacrifices, right, are rendered secondary to Fala, and Fala gets this kind of award and recognition, he enjoys the kinds of privilege in our own government, he has to pay for it. Those are the enabler of the fight against Fala. Right or wrong, that's left with you to make the determination. But at this point, it is not morally back, it's not legally back, but it's squarely because people feel like Fala's presence is losing the grip that they had, is putting him in a position that they want to be now. So, should Fala have stood his ground on the comments he made on Spoon, I dare you, they would not have proceeded. Because even in their midst, even among them, they agree that Mr. Bwaka does not compromise tribalism. They know that tribal cleavages plays a greater role in Mr. Bwaka's decision making to the larger extent. How to work around that? No. So now, we want to test and understand Fala's weakness and vulnerability. Jacob DB already angered. Jacob DB already vexed. Jacob DB already want to pick a fight, right? Has been subjected to investigation. Jacob listened to Fala, commits almost the same thing he was investigated for. Jacob says, enabled by Speaker Kun, right? Says, arresting the man. Speaker, we got to investigate the man. So that means the man has committed egregious crime, right? Then the communication is written. Fala gets invited. Boop, out of nowhere, Fala koto and apologizes. Fala apology gives a degree of relief for Mr. Kun, because Mr. Kun's leadership was immensely threatened. Then you go demonstrate that you have vulnerability. Fala demonstrated that he has vulnerability by apologizing to the very man you think you are knowledgeable than, to the very man you think that you know more than. You go and apologize to that man. Okay, good. Now that this man have apologized, all right, finish telling us that he has something that we can hold him back. So we will use that one, right? Kuna is the man that's supposed to use that as a leverage to keep Fala under control. And Fala has exposed that to Kun, that Kun, look, with all you think that I get, right? As soon you try coming after my deputy speaker thing, I will bow down. So, like Austin was saying, at the end of the day, where do we stand to benefit? Zero. Taxpayers' dollars will be used in any unorthodox, undemocratic, partisan-driven, tribal-driven removal exercise. Because these removal are not informed by, national. They are not informed by citizen welfare reasons. We're going to be spectator. We say that our tax dollars are being used. They were wasted before. They're going to be wasted now. We got our down or burned because of those same things, and we are going back to the same cycle. right? That's displaying or that's bringing this kind of leadership that even the layman on the sidewalk has lost faith and confidence in the legislature or in the House of Representatives to a larger extent. Real issues are happening in the country. Our borders remain occupied by Guineans. Leaders, you're not seeing leaders taking the stage, right? Right? You're not seeing that among lawmakers. They're only able for naked power. I won't be speaker. I won't be deputy speaker, right? Who's supposed to succeed Bwaka? Who's supposed to replace Bwaka? Who will not replace Bwaka? This other person will replace Bwaka, and they're pumping millions into these unnecessary or impactful ventures. Personal aggrandizements. That's the only purpose it serves. Then you come to tell me, say, oh, the United Party, hey, we got this, we got that. No. But one thing I can say to you, I don't think Fala's apology will save him to a larger extent. And I equally don't feel Fala's removal will make the legislature any better. And you understand? So I could decide to pick a side based on the benefit that comes to legislative politics. If you remove Fala now, I am not certain that whatever that comes out of that is going to benefit the country, is going to enhance the House of Representatives, and going to make it more viable than what it is. We're still going to be continuing in the same mess, the same poor oversight, the same, compromise on the duty of check and balance. The legislature, the executive is going to have its way. Just imagine the recent one. A critical instrument that have got to do with reforming the electoral laws of the country gets passed on in the House of Representatives without anybody in the country knowing that they have passed on something. Anything that comes, they just go swear. Anything that comes, they just go swear. A critical instrument that borders on the future stability of this country gets handled and treated like that. Do you expect anything? I do not expect anything from there. So, in a which way, like others would say, and seditions that will celebrate have got genuine reason to celebrate Fala's removal, right? And UPAs that will celebrate Fala removal have been me and a scream. Because this is a man who was vehement against you, loud in the opposition against you, right? That thought to give you the opportunity. That thought to give you the opportunity against his own political institution, against the people that made him. And if it is not partisan bigotry and extremism, I am not sure this will be the way you pay him back. But from the perspective of partisan loyalty and, of course, political independence and responsibility, Fala deserves whatever he's getting. He deserves it. You ask my opinion, he should be removed today. But on the leadership and country basis, will Liberia benefit anything? Even if Kun is removed, the whole sport, that whole place sport, maybe they're going to summon me. But it wouldn't erase the fact that Liberians have lost confidence and faith. So it's a challenge to them. It's a challenge to the leadership to allow these unorthodox vices vanish from their operations and act in keeping with the law. Nobody is telling you to be a rebel against the executive, but make the executive to respect you. Act on the law. Collaborate when it's in the interest of the country because you're the people's deputy, the people's representative. Act at the appropriate time. Question when you need to. Yellow machines were to be dispatched on the 29th of June. The 29th has passed, right? the Yellow Machine Coordinating Committee has yet to issue a statement telling Liberians why have they not dispatched the yellow machines yet. Taxpayers' money are going to go there. Successive government will inherit the burden of paying whatever penny that was spent on that yellow machine thing. And people who are supposed to be the people's deputy are sitting there fighting among themselves and thinking that that's being genius, that's being smart. No, this is political mockery. This is leadership failure. This is governance abuse. And that's how much I can say about this. And then we can open the phone lines, take calls, and see what happened with our guys from Soup, right? 0776 104 104 0886 500 104 plus 231 886 500 104 are the numbers to call. And of course, you'll be live. This is the Freedom Money Rise on Freedom 87.9, the People's Radio. And of course, you're welcome, most welcome. And let's hear your say on these plus other issues as discussed. Good morning.
Good morning, my brother. Good morning.
I'm okay. Go ahead.
My name is Nelson. I'm calling you from Panama this morning. Thank you for the topic of the discussion this morning. I think Deputy Speaker Thomas Farah will end up leaving that Deputy Speaker position because he bowed down to Richard Kun already, and Richard Kun will use that against him because Richard Kun is definitely president. You don't forget. He forget about things, but you don't forget people easily. So I think Deputy Speaker will end up going and.
But the man got to protect his power now. Anybody will want to protect their power.
What will happen that there where the split will come from between Richard and the president because the president will end up backing Thomas Farah because Thomas Farah is a PC man. So the president will put in Thomas Farah against Richard Kun.
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning. Yeah, this is Benedict Stout for Central Moravia.
Go ahead.
As you said, my brother, since post-war Liberia, this is the most worthless legislature we have ever seen. It's the most incompetent legislature we have ever seen. This is the most treasonable legislature we have ever seen against the country and people of Liberia. As regards to Fala, I think it's deleted. But man, I should have been kicked out a long time. It's come out. Whatever you sow, that's what you reap. So, anything what you sow.
Okay.
So, thank you very much for the show.
Thank you very much. Good morning.
Good morning, Abu.
Morning.
I'm calling for the more concern about
Go ahead.
Abu, anyone here yesterday, someone said they won't be with Richard Kun. Anyone here, when we were fighting Kufa, we are told someone for the thing that going on, and someone for support Richard Kun. They say they see being comfortable with Richard Kun. Then why now you going to put a million to denigrate Richard Kun? You are wrong. They put per capita benefit for Richard Kun. Then why now you denigrate the men need to grow? Now you know the time is about to grow. You know the
man did that with gray hair. Oh, what the man said the men need to grow.
Yeah, the men need to grow. Now you born, what do you need to grow? Now you born a man. You know that man can really see a ability. Why must you remove Kufa for investment?
Okay, thank you very much. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Go ahead, you're live.
Yeah, I'm Joseph KP calling you from Chibiu Factory.
Go ahead.
You see, Thomas Farah, as a deputy speaker, has shown in the people his limitation. Maybe he can go to school and say the deputy speaker is Lufere. It is not experience. It is inexperience. Then he's coming back again to apologize. That is showing to us that Thomas Farah is inexperienced in the hustle of the store. So, to have come up and apologize, he should have let people that he is not qualified.
He's a weak man.
Yeah. Huh?
You have shown that he's a weak man. He's a weak man. Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning. Go ahead. You're live.
Yeah, my name is Jonathan Apolling from St. John Nigitan. Jonathan P. Apolling from St. John Nigitan.
Go ahead.
Yeah, the deputy speaker wanted to work with. You know, they want to create the things, anything, be powerful. They make that we are in deputy, the party military part of him, work people on him, in deputy.
So they gave it to him, woto.
No, you see the disgrace in coming here now. And you see the disgrace. You know, wearing Unity Party ticket, you wearing yellow margin
But the thing the man say about Speaker Kun, you agree or not?
I agree on it. Speaker Kun really the rebel way, but I ain't man. Different ways, people morning.
How Speaker Kun ruling the rifle way now? When anybody thought he summon you, he hold you for contempt, censoring opinions and free expression, that ruling rifle way there. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning, go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Alexander Plus.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my brother, we don't need to talk on and talk about and that on.
No, but you can't tell what to talk on a national issue, so we'll have to discuss it. Go ahead. If you don't have anything to say, you forget it.
Yeah, that is the still abuse over there was that too. So that's about it.
All right. Thank you very much. Good morning. You are the second to the last caller. Good morning. Go ahead.
Yeah, my name is Eugene S. Joe Jr., and I call you from Capital Bypass.
Mm-hmm.
So, Abu, for me, it is not strange to me, you know. I'm one of those persons that follow former deputy speaker Fala when he appeared on OKFM, relative to the Koluba issue, representing the Koluba issue.
Mm-hmm.
And he said the way Koluba spoke at the time, it wasn't appropriate, and you can't do that to the horse, you know. So he was one of those persons that were pushing to expel Koluba because they wanted to discipline him.
Mm-hmm.
And in my mind, look, if you do administration, organization behavior, it also tells you your boss is your boss. So even if you want to advise your boss, you should advise your boss in closed door.
Mm-hmm.
But for the fact that you bring your boss outside, you don't respect him, you don't regard him. So if the host decide to take action against him, I want Liberian that even though I don't have the voting right, but I will support it. Because why he denigrated his boss. You know, his statement wasn't in line. Like you
say the man apprentice speaker, the man learning, so you got to pick up quick. He's slow to learn.
Yeah, it's man learning. The man have to change from
the man tell look at whole university lecturer you call the man say the man hard to learn. So what cool will tell you student then?
What cool will tell you student? And even to even tell us, to even tell Liberians that cool, cool have been in a
say the man dormant, the man hard to pick up.
Speaker cool have been in the poverty and government, in recent time where the issue of America been thinking about.
No man, cool right to get fair. Why no? Fala say more bad. Why you look at your boy man, you call the man that? Good morning.
Abu, good morning.
Good morning.
Good morning to us this morning. My name is Ishmael Kamara, and I call you guys this morning from Painesville.
Mm-hmm.
Abu, let me appreciate the two of you this morning for taking your time to learn.
Even in the mechanic garage, you tell that thing to the boss man will pull you also. Then talk about national leadership. You can't look at the whole country. You say this country speaker hard to learn. Everything he knew to try, all kind of thing. Go ahead, I'm better.
Yeah, for you guys being able this morning to literally, send issues, to this morning, I want to appreciate you guys. But the thing is, these things were far away since we saw it ahead of time. You guys brought it to our attention months back.
Mm-hmm.
That no matter what happened, when tomorrow for the fire said it's a bad zone. The fire is in a very hard zone. And this thing was told from the very beginning. Today, what you guys said yesterday, actually. But yeah, the fact of the matter, like I hear you say that we have a national breakdown in leadership. That is the square. Why this? Because we cannot have a government being ruled in this form and manner. We have a national breakdown in leadership. We cannot have the president being able to serve as the third eye for the legislature. Mm-hmm. We cannot have a legislature that's going to be independent, right? To exercise oversight responsibility. Conducting themselves in the. So what we find ourselves right now, like you guys just said it rightly, people will celebrate for different reasons. But in my mind, Thomas Fala will not stay the way you find yourself as deputy speaker until the year end. Thank you for having me.
Okay, thank you very kindly. And so that we will do now, since we have our young brothers here. So we hear from them. They too have their own thoughts about what's happening in the country, what feature Liberia guarantees for them with the level of leadership that's being that's on display, and all of that is always important, especially from the student community. The students are very, very important in any fledgling democracy. Don't ever underestimate them. But for some reason, I don't know what to say, but I'm going to hold it and see what the students will say, and then I will tell them what I think. But yeah, this is the Freedom Morning Rise on Freedom 87.9. My name is Abu Sharif. It's always a good thing to have you join us, and hopefully tomorrow we can provide our own summary analysis of the eminent opposition unity that's building up, that's developing with what came from Zoeju, the panic. We saw it live, and it culminated into the appointment of Abi Kumar to a position that usurps the function of the director of mines at the Ministry of Mines and Energy. Why is Mr. Baka treating the country like this? The same way you deal with the Ministry of Public Work, you take the poor function, you pull Bernie Samuka, you say go do yellow machine. So public work can't do yellow machine. Then look at the director of mines. So the question becomes, when these miners see Abi Kumar and the director of mines, whoever he is, who are they going to pay homage to? The director of mines occupies a constitutional role, while Abi Kumar is in a political role, reports to the presidency, political accommodation. Liberian tax dollars are being wasted for political expediency, which is bad. So let me go across the table to talk to our young brothers. Gentlemen, good morning. Welcome. You call your name and tell us the role you play. They are from SUP, the Student Unification Party, the Vanguard Party. Good morning. Welcome.
So good morning, Rabu.
Go ahead.
So we want to say thank you for having us here and extend deep gratitude to the Freedom Communication Network for having us here. We want to extend greetings to the peace and loving people of Liberia. And we want to bring you greetings from the author of the most powerful man, Comrade Chairman Odysseus Moba. We want to extend greetings to the President Carrier of the Student Unification Party. I'm Comrade Ideologue Cephas Noreen, the Chairman on the Bureau of Propaganda, Information, Research and Guidance of the Student Unification Party.
Okay, Cephas replaced Poli, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And how has it been filling the shoes?
Every position in the Vanguard Student Unification Party ranks is a very big position, but it has a cadre.
Do you think you've lived up to the bar?
So I'm not the one carrying my scorecard. So for which we work for, you'll be the one to label us out.
But you're doing a good job.
I'm sure.
Okay, thank you, Nori.
Good morning. Good morning, Abu.
Mm-hmm.
And let me say good morning to our listeners. And let me also extend revolutionary salutations to the militants and cadres of the Student Unification Party. I would love to seize this moment to express gratitude to the most powerful man on the campuses of the University of Liberia, Comrade Cadre Chairman Odysseus Moba, for giving us the opportunity to come here today to discuss on national discourse issues. My name is Dave Howard Jr., and I'm the Secretary General of the 34th Politburo of the Revolutionary Vanguard Student Unification Party.
Okay, you took from the current chairman.
Yes.
He used to be the SG.
Yes.
Yeah, Odysseus. But why Odysseus didn't come? I thought it was, why is the man running away from the local media?
The chairman never runs away. In fact, when you follow his trajectory in suit,
I know he always
he has always
saying he became chairman now. The man,
he has been positions where he has had exposure to the media, but it was out of some circumstances that he could not be present today. So it is out when it comes, to these kind of discourses, when it is very, very urgent. But it is our role as Secretary General Propaganda Chair to defend the party intellectually. So that's the reason we're here today.
That's fair enough. So normally when you see SUP come around and start to get involved with these things, then I mean something is cooking. So you care to tell us what's up? Well, what is it this time around that you want the country to know about or hear you on?
Yeah, so basically, like you already put it, so following the public proclamation of the chairman on March 6, that for which the party, the Student Unification Party, right, carry on a thorough investigation of our people's suffering. The joint session of the Central Committee in the Politburo made known to the public that there will be a mass protest on April 14 need a team march for job and justice. So you follow on April 14, the party came out, right? The regime under the good of intimidation answered through the Liberal National Police with brute force against peaceful students, against people protesters. They ran and ransacked peaceful protesters against a constitutional right that is guaranteed under Article 17 to peaceful that someone petition the government of the day. So it was on that backdrop, the chairman is Politburo National Committee reconvened another convenient date to come out, which is July 26 celebration. So,
And that's our Independence Day.
So there's yes, that's our Independence Day. But the current state of affairs of the Liberian Republic, right, does not consummate that Liberia should celebrate independence. When you look at
I'm beating you talking down there.
when you look at the war index of happy country, Finland ranks number 1.
Okay.
Liberia ranked 136 out of 147. So when you look at the scorecard out of 0 to 10, Liberia accounts for only 4. That means the social economic affairs or welfare of our people is not catered for, right? The perception of corruption it is hampering the people, right? And the fragility of peace that we enjoy today, it is something that the people are contemplating on. One man will go to his home with nothing to eat. He's thinking if tomorrow you get out nothing, why you will find something to eat? Or if we get out, if there will be same peace that I enjoyed yesterday. So that's the current state of the affair. And then the regime they take 760,000 of taxpayer money. We are going to celebrate in the wake of economic hardship, in the wake of joblessness, in the wake of selective justice. So the Vanguard State Education Party says on July 26th celebration, the government they should pay attention to the people that plot and they should adhere to it.
So you abort the July 26th celebration?
If
Is that your
they
call?
mean well for the Republic, if they don't want to show empty showmanship that progress is going on, if they don't want to track on the continuous strength that have been on for 3 years counting now that there has been progress made, then they should listen to the people.
But you could achieve that by constructively engaging the government before the day, but to set protests on the day, what level of engagement you did, and that brought you to this conclusion?
When you follow the chain of soup, right? No institution in the Republic since our inception October 20, 1970 has been democratically engaged and responsive to any region they did in soup, right? Soup are engaged, the region they did through diplomatic means, right? By writing circulars, periodicals, all of our press conferences, right? These are engagement. Any government they did that mean well for people, right? Will follow dissent, right? Because unlike other opposition political parties, soup, right, provide remedies through our press conferences and our circulars to any issue that affecting the people.
That means the government of the day is not listening to soup.
It's not listening to soup at all. Because some of the things that he promised, right? We look at the first 100 days.
Is soup angry about that?
We are very angry. We are angry because our people are angry. We are angry because our people are hungry. We are angry because our people do not have job. They do not have job. We are angry because our people do not have justice.
But why is it the regime doesn't?
The
regime is not seeing things the way the regime say they're doing fairly well. They're managing the state of affairs, and people are okay. The largest extent, once upon a time, the president said Liberians are happy.
So if that is an opinionated view of the president, right? To say that the people are happy, right? But let's take a survey. But I would like to take a survey. You are with the people, whether in your community, at your job site, and your day-to-day engagements. Look at the people. Look at engagement. Look at the articulation on things that are happening on national issues.
The regime brand those people as opposition. Anybody saying the contrary, they are supposed to be opposition. Their views are not reflective of what's actually happening in the country. Do you agree?
So are the people under the banner of this Enchanted Unity Party partisan that have been staunch of not having job are opposition too? Are the people, your own people that elected you, you turn back of them, you stab them in the back, you splash mud in their face down. You are telling us that they are opposition. So you are telling us that because they elected you and you are in power today, so all of them are opposition. Their regime should be very careful because the leadership today that they enjoy, right? It came from a very fragile number, less than 20,000 votes, a very thin margin. That tells you that Today, a single community, a minute number of a community can put you out of power. The power is here in the people. So if you are passing around today and you are labeling those that went on the ring, you are labeling those that went in the mud, you are labeling those that went in the trenches, you have you elected as opposition. It means it doesn't mean well for them, and come 2029, they will make it a one-term leadership.
Power is invested in the people. The people have ultimately utilized the power they had. Right now, the powers have been, from what we are seeing from the government is in charge. They are detecting what happens. They are in charge. It's not about what a minute number this that they're saying that they are in charge.
Yes, that is temporary, right? That is very temporary. That is just in the school for 6 years. The people will come to run your work valid or invalid after the 6 years. So 2029 proves you will know whether your dictates you have in the period of 6 years was actually in the good of the people, was on the wrong of the people. And you'll be vendor and verdict either on the wrong side or the right side of history. And with the happiness that we observed under this Wakako regime, we can safely say and beat our chest that come 2029, if this continues to the remaining years that's supposed to be consumed under the Wakako regime.
And the validator of the people's decision in any given election is the National Elections Commission, and the regime has been doing all its best to ensure that it manages to play in a way that favors it, especially the public alarm over the appointment of.
Historically proven, the Vanguard State Medication Party has alarmed that. Though,
but to no end.
Though those that are supposed to confirm it, right? Didn't listen to soup, like you said, right? The regime is not listening. They are carrying on.
So you agree that the power is shifting from the people, or if it has not shifted already, but the power is going to the government authority.
So that power cannot be
because the people speak. The people speak, and the government is not listening. The government proceed with whatever it wants to do.
Mm-hmm. And then the
so what's the hope?
The people get the negative feedback. They will hold on to it. 2029, right? They will render that verdict. So super alarm to the people.
And the validator of that verdict, I want us to go back. The validator of that verdict, that system has been quote unquote manipulated by an agent that you yourself oppose and alarm over, but yet the regime did not listen. So don't you think that there is a calculation beyond that?
Thank you. And that's the calculation that's super exposed. We said there's an individual who was in the ranks and file of the United Party.
In the UP chat room.
Of the war room of the United Party. Now, he's being rewarded a political patronage reward or a war of being National Election Commissioner boss. We are saying to our people to note that come 2029, they should take heed to the workings and manipulation of Mr. Guido. So the people already know that any attempt for Mr. Guido to thwart the agenda of replacing this reckless mission to an alternative that they see befitting at the time, there will be a catastrophic showdown.
Catastrophic showdown. Let me hold you there, Mr. Nori. Secretary General, July 26th is Independence Day, where we are supposed to be cheerful and excited about our country, retrospecting, reflecting on the historical triumph and trials that our country has gone through. But you are saying it's not befitting celebration. The nation should rise up, rally on that day to send a signal. How do you convince the thousands of Liberians out there that this cause is genuine and germane?
Thank you very much, Abu, for that fundamental question. What I would love to say is that the Constitution of the Republic that governs the lives of Liberian citizens does not mention any particular day that Liberian citizens should come out. Article 17 is very clear. Article 17 is unambiguous that the people, whenever they have grievances and they want to articulate those grievances to those who lead them, they can come out any day. And one fallacy we love to debunk is the idea that July 26th is a sacred day. It is a sacrosanct day. So anything that involves protest or the march of the people goes against the Republic. Protest is a form of celebration. Other people might choose to dabble or to indulge into pump and pageantry. The government has allocated $750,000 to be blowing vuvuzelas around here while the people are suffering. So for us, we have selected that day as the rejuvenation of our struggle. Like the program I was saying to you, on April 14, we came out en masse to agitate against the social injustices perpetrated against the Liberian people. But the state did not listen to us. In fact, the state was petrified. The state was petrified by the overwhelming mandate of the people within the context of the medicines of soup. So for us, on the celebration of July 26th, we are taking that day to inform the Liberian people that Mr. Baka has failed the state, that the governing coalition led by Joseph Baka and Jeremiah Kun have failed the Liberian people. Before we selected April 14 as the day for us to march in the streets of Monrovia for jobs and justice, we cataloged about 75 counts.
So this is Job and Justice Part 2.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So we cataloged about 75 counts saying that you told Liberian people that you have come to rescue the state. You're talking about the provision of jobs.
So what I want to know before we come to that, the first time you protested, you put out some counts out. I don't know whether the government received it or not, but if they do, if they did receive your petition, is there any material improvement on some of what you raised with the government?
In fact, the government did not even allow us to march for 5 minutes. Like I said, the government felt intimidated. But just seeing young people. And in fact, that was the most peaceful march. That was the most peaceful protest in the history of soup. As soon as we assembled on Capitol campus, in less than 5 minutes, they released a mandate. You know, and they started shooting tear gas. Some of our militants were arrested, were brutalized, were dragged. So they didn't even care to listen to us. They did not care to listen to us, even though.
And are you prepared to risk the militants again? That was the height of intolerance. So are you prepared to do that once more?
Yeah, that was the height of intolerance. But you know, our courage, right? Our courage is historical. The courage that we have today is not derivative of the current dispensation. It is something that comes
even in the face of the evident ruthlessness of the regime of the day.
Of course, it is
dare to.
Of course, it is something that is derivative of our historical consciousness and what we have seen our party. We stood against the tyrannical dictatorship of Samuel Kanado. We're in the face of Charles Kange Taylor. So I mean, we're not intimidated by whatever these guys do. So on the July 26th celebration, Sue will be out again to ensure that Mr. Baka listens to the Liberian people. There is a president for the all who does not even care about Liberian citizens at home or abroad. The last time you listen to him, he was misusing a metaphorical expression in which he compared Liberian citizens to dogs. You have Liberian citizens in South Africa. You are seeing a chauvinistic disposition of South Africans exhibiting xenophobia against Africans, against black people, against Liberians. The last time the Ghanaian president, John Dramani Mahama, he repatriated Ghanaian citizens to Ghana. Mr. President, Mr. Baka cannot do so. Up to now, the South African ambassador is still living here peacefully. It took soup on the anniversary of the Day of the African Child. We had to go to the South African embassy to intimidate the South African ambassador. But the president does not care. There's a president who said that he would have transformed the state, that he would have rescued Liberian citizens from the underworld of drugs.
Is the president not doing that?
He's not doing anything. He's not doing anything. He doesn't care. The president lies with Liberian. In fact, look at the arrest agenda in the first place. You talk about agriculture. The president has not even allocated 2% of the national budget agriculture, even though he claims that agriculture is the first pillar of the arrest agenda. He's not doing anything. More than 54% of the Liberian population lives in multidimensional poverty. He doesn't care. So this is a president who is recalcitrant. This is a president who is reckless. This is an incompetent president. Look at even the crisis, right? The territorial crisis between Liberia and Guinea. Mr. President is not even reading history.
The Minister of Information said that the matter was resolved and there is calm at the border.
That minister is a loudmouth minister. He is a loquacious minister. He just talks around the place. The last time he said Liberian citizens who are patriotic and nationalistic, you know, to be concerned about that country should take up arms and go and fight the Guineans. So what I was saying is that even the president of the state does not understand the political history of the country. There was a moment in history during the end of the 19th century and the early 20th century, Liberia lost territory to Guinea. Go and read about Captain Benjamin Jenkins Anderson and Massadou in Guinea. You lost territory, and today you are allowing Mamadou Doumbouya to behave as if he is the Nebuchadnezzar of West Africa, and you have become like a vassal state. The president lacks balls. He lacks the revolutionary courage to protect the sovereignty of his state.
And you think it's the absence of courage?
He doesn't have courage. First of all,
the president and the government has insisted that they're going to deal with this diplomatically. Are they not doing that?
What diplomacy? What diplomacy? The president doesn't even understand diplomacy.
If
he understood diplomacy in the first instance, if Liberia and Guinea have a territorial dispute, you cannot even go to Conakry. If you really understood diplomacy, you wouldn't have gone to Conakry to have a conversation with the Guinean president.
That was under the auspices of the Manoa Union, and I'm told the current chairmanship of the Manoa Union is to Guinea. So obviously,
but even Cote d'Ivoire,
that was the reason why they went there.
Even Cote d'Ivoire is a member of the MRU.
Yeah, but she wasn't a party to the situation.
So why? No, it wasn't Cote d'Ivoire. It was Sierra Leone, Marabio. So if you have an issue with Guinea, and then the how you call Ivory Coast or La Cote d'Ivoire is a member of the MRU, you should have gone to La terrain, which was La Cote d'Ivoire. Not understand geopolitics because he was never ready for the presidency because he
entirely blame the president for that. The president has people that's enabling. He has foreign affairs ministers. He has also defense
minister of foreign affairs. I don't even want to go there with all. This is the same madam who
but they are all of their advisors in leadership should guard the president.
Of course,
rightfully. So if the president goes into error, then we begin to ask what degree of advice the national security advisor is giving the president.
Of course. So statutorily, the minister of foreign affairs is supposed to advise the president. But this is a madam who is also an academic fraudster. Somebody who lied to Liberian people, who schemed on Liberian masses that she had a $25 million Negotel scholarship. No Liberian benefited from. So, what tells you that she's going to advise the president on political issues or geopolitical issues? So, this is just a conglomeration of bereft individuals who have no understanding on how to run the political economy of the state and the geopolitical position of Liberia. And that's the reason for which on the July 26th celebration, Sue will come out to say to the Liberian people that, hey, this is not the way we should proceed. We should go like this. You have to reconvene. You have to reorganize the political economy of the state, provide jobs for Liberian citizens, and transform this economy into a middle-income economy. That is the position of Sue.
Okay, so in the event where you see the executive playing lame duck on some of these critical issues, democratically we rely on the People's Deputy, the legislature. What's your position on the effectiveness of the 55th legislature as it is today in dealing with some of these things, the bureaucracies, and there's some of the grievances that you have?
So historically, there was a Liberian lawmaker who expressed his very honest opinions about the bureaucracies between Liberia and Guinea, and then they used, political expediency, political convenience to put him out of the legislature. And that's the reason for which you say that the legislature is a toothless bulldog. The legislature does not represent the interests of the Liberian people. And that's the reason the Vanguard Party issued a serious statement.
But you invited the speaker. The speaker went to you, and you have some conversation. I don't know the in total of the conversation. I'm thinking what level of discussion you have with the speaker.
So let me address it. Let me address it in very few minutes.
Because people saw Soup is rubbing shoulder with the speaker.
Yeah. So let me address it. Let me address it in very few minutes, right? So what you saw, right? What you saw was a temporary ceasefire. It was a temporary cessation of hostilities. In politics, there is no permanent friend and there is no permanent enemy, un interest is permanent. So what we did was to have a diplomatic conversation. We had an interest, and that interest was to ensure that all those who signed the resolution to remove Jacob Koluba had to be declared persona non grata. And then there were issues at the university that could not be addressed by the university administration. So since Rachel Kun is the speaker and he's a state actor, we said we can have a brief conversation in which we give our demands that you have to provide.
He asked for it, or you people?
He asked for it. He asked for it. He asked for it.
He begged to sit.
He begged so that we could have a conversation, and then we have to give a demand. We have to get demands, right?
So, but when you declare, legislative persona non grata or members of the legislative persona non grata, to what effect does that?
So the thing is that SUP is an ideological institution. We do not think mechanically. Our understanding is dialectical. So you cannot say if something is A today, it must always remain A. You have to be, you have to be strategic. So our understanding at the time was that since we declare these guys persona non grata and they want to have a conversation, what we say is that you have to provide uninterrupted supply of electricity. You have to renovate the bathrooms. You have to provide electricity at the University of Liberia. So it was a temporary ceasefire. It does not mean that the ban came to an end.
So is there a breach of that commitment?
There was no breach.
So the speaker office remains committed to these things agreed with him.
Even up to now, the speaker cannot come on the campus of the University of Liberia. It was, like I said, it was a temporary cessation of hostilities.
So what I want to understand,
you come at the barricades, and we fire you. We offer a few demands, and then you go back. If you cannot live up to these demands, you cannot come to the University of Liberia.
So that was okay. So that means he's not living up to those demands.
Of course.
And so you reimpose the I don't know curfew or moratorium.
The moratorium. It holds. All of them are hereby declared persona non grata. So it was just a temporary.
You mean as we speak, Speaker Kun cannot enter the University of Liberia campus?
Of course. The ban.
Who's going to effect that?
The Vanguard Party.
Are you always present?
Of course. The militants of SUP are always at the barricades.
The young people from the Student Unification Party, of course, the Secretary General and the propaganda chair, they've been here throwing light on a planned protest scheduled for July 26. And they are speaking to why this is necessary and why they are going to continue. Why if the state come out to say, you know what, these are independent, let's talk this thing out. Is SUP willing to listen?
We have always addressed the state diplomatically. It is just that they have refused. In fact, on April 14, our only intent was to arrive at Capitol Hill campus, march from the campus to Broad Street, come back and issue our petition statement. But like I said from the onset, they were the ones who felt intimidated. They felt petrified because, since this government took over, it was the very first time that they saw a barrage, an avalanche of ideological young people. So they were like, if these guys continue from here to Capitol to Broad Street, the masses will come out. So they were intimidated. We've never said we don't want to have a conversation with the state. Anytime SUP converges and we issue a statement to the state, that is a conversation. But they have not allowed us to have that dialogue. So we'll come out again during that celebration. If they use police brutality as they've always done, as they've always employed or deployed as their resort, as their last resort, we'll not be intimidated. We'll come out again.
Okay, you'll not be intimidated. I'm going to come out again. So I'm going to ask one question that both of you can respond to, and then we'll go to the phone lines. That is, yes, different segment of the society can have issues, and they guarantee under our laws that they can come out and express their displeasure and all of that. But generally, how do you view the state of affairs of the country in terms of leadership, governance, and of course, the rule of law?
Basically, so when you look at the theme of the protest of the Vanguard Communication Party, Job and Justice, right? That is the clear capitalization of what you just said. So, like I told you from my session of speech, I told you, SUP, within the insertion of Mr. Boyka, 1 to 2 years counting, have cataloged all of the leadership proceedings, right? And say it's not going well, whether it was the system of justice. So, under this regime, right? Post-war Liberia, under this regime, from 2024 up to present, this leadership under Mr. Boyka has calculated and record the most amount of gender-based violence cases, rape cases alone amounting to 2,569.
Just in less than 3 years.
Just in less than 3 years. And most of these cases are carried out by the very same government officials of the day and have been left to work with impunity, work scot-free, work as free men and women. Right? They are sodomizing our boys, they are raping our girls. So there's no justice being dispensed. Right? When it comes to job, the president said on one of his sonal addresses that his government created 70,000 jobs. 70,000 jobs. But then just in the scope of 1 to 2 years or 3 years counting. And then the World Bank businesses at River said that Liberia as a country, out of 195 countries, Liberia as a country for just in the informal sector, just in the informal sector, right? We're looking at people who, they are entrepreneurs, right? They are self-employed. Liberia accounts for 168 out of 195. That means people who are providing themselves the avenue to
small businesses,
yeah, they are in very minute number.
That means the environment is not conducive enough to allow many Liberians to thrive in those areas.
Thank you. So it means while government grant, government subsidy is a matter of very minute number, right? They are not creating anything. Then you look at what government is creating on their own. But there's the same government that said to you that in 2023 when they were campaigning that the public space congested, that when they should have come, right, they could have created a policy called public-private or public-private partnership, where they were part of the public sector to alleviate the congested space within the public sector and create, an active private sector where people go, where you leave Ministry of Youth and Sport, you leave Ministry of Education, all the people. Pressing because they are not going there. No seeking pressing the economic, even though she's not doing that.
Facebook press and defense people, dumping them there.
Right? Pressing watch a team for colonial crap, even though she's not doing nothing. Right? So that's what the government said until now. There's been no foreign direct investment. But there's the president who has traveled in less than 3 years counting, who has traveled over 20 times. 20 times. So we look at the day-to-day expenditure, and all of what has been covered for travels, right, will go to 16.5 million. 16.5 million
for less than 3 years.
In less than 3 years, 16.5 million. But you have
the travels have not brought no dividend.
We are getting there. But you have the commission, right, on drugs, that should dispense drugs when there's an inadequacy of drugs at GFP, that inadequacy of drugs at Phoebe.
Yeah, the NDS.
Yeah, where they are allowed or they are appropriated 500,000. And when you know that 98% of that money will go for salary arrears, recurring expenditure. So what is left to carry on the actual work of that agency? For Mr. Parker enjoys 16.5 million just for travels. So the answer to your question that says what the government is doing well on leadership, justice, it is very, very much on. Skill want to tell you get out you are not really rich. For 0 to 10. When we reach the pool, I tell you, 0 to 10 is a real number. But the government is still trying from a negative 0, a negative inch or 0 up to the real number 0 to 10.
So they've not even reached the real number 0.
They haven't reached a real number 0 to 10.
That's small. Let's hear the Secretary General.
Yeah, so let me begin with the Minister of Youth and Sports. So that madam first always when he does get up, she does not understand the mandate that she was given. This is an individual who said that she was providing 500 scholarships at the University of Liberia. By policy, you are supposed to be a tuition-free university. So how can you come and say you're providing, scholarships?
Yeah, and that's why I don't comprehend sometimes.
It doesn't make any sense. It is only because you want.
But they say these things and you, the student, clap for them.
If you say the students are
Not
distinguishable.
necessarily the cadres, but the students would clap for them. That speaks to the level of consciousness.
No, the students, even the students, they not clap for that, because you cannot be an ordinary student paying 2,550 LD as only as registration fee, and somebody can say they want to give you scholarship and you apply for them. You don't apply. So even the students were angry. So the party issued a statement saying that if you are truly concerned about Liberian students, go to Cottington, go to Blue Crest, go to AMU, go to UMU. Because what we have at university is something that was fought for by the sweat, blood, tears, and sacrifices of sub-militants and cadres. At the university today, our concern is not about paying tuition unless the state wants to go back into history, unless the state wants to recall the revolutionary vibrancy of sub-militants. But what we say right now to you is that provide electricity, provide internet connectivity, provide adequate sessions, provide buses, and expand the university perimeter. But she said she was providing scholarships. After we dealt her, she dissipated and evaporated into thin air. That is not a serious minister. She has never been serious, and she will never be serious. Her only attempt here is to impress her bosses. So, I mean, to your question about the rule of law, right? This is a government that illegally removed a sitting speaker. The Supreme Court ruled against it.
And the students understand that.
Yeah, of course, the students are enlightened. They understand that. There is a government that removed a sitting speaker. You cannot say you are a democracy and then somebody was elected and then you remove them illegally. Jeka Koluba, only because he expresses honest intellectual opinions about the border dispute between Liberia and Guinea, you removed him 10 new positions. So Mr. Baka does not believe in the rule of law. So we'll give them zero. So if you ask me about, about what the government...
Autocracy, democracy. What seems to be the order of the day here?
Mr. Baka represents both extremes of the political divide. He is an autocrat and he is also anti-democratic. Yeah.
At the same
time, simultaneously, concomitantly. Mr. Baka does not believe in democracy. He's an autocrat. In fact, we refer to him as the reincarnated version of Benito Mussolini, Adolf Hitler. Because he used his target police forces against peaceful university students who were only in the streets to articulate the demands that were guaranteed to them under Article 17 of the Liberian Constitution. So Mr. Baka is not a serious president.
So lastly, we'll go to the phone lines, the drug thing. $19 million cocaine busted in our country. It has been almost a month. We can't have anybody arrested. The drug law required that any property or vehicle that drugs are confiscated in should be seized, sold, and proceeds used to fight drugs. And it has been almost a month. We're not hearing nothing. What is that? The complacency and the snail pace at which is generating some degree of reactions among some lawmakers and all of that. But what does SUP say? What's your position on that?
So before we didn't have a situation of the 19 million jobs, SUP foresaw, right, on March 10th. And then a part of Jose on the 5 counts, one of our counts, spoke to the fact that Mr. Boycott is not serious about handling drug issues in this country, right? So what they are doing it is still a charade. So you saw when the LDA we have, an individual, right, with just maybe 50,000 liberty worth of drugs, or in the case of the Liberian artist Bucky Raw, who was just in possession of opium.
Yeah, less than
opium. They paraded with him. They came to Central Prison. They brought him back. Came to the hall. Came to the NT hall. Bring him back. Naked him. Drag him. But today we have 19 million worth of drugs confiscated by the LDA.
And cocaine, you have to qualify that.
Yeah, cocaine, right? A very high level of drug, right? And then this government, right, is deliberate, senior working about this issue. So this speaks to the fact this validate what should say yesterday about Mr. Baka not being serious in the drugs. But just to see Mr. Baka in 2023 campaign, you have our people on the way sovereignizing that the regime of the day back then under Mr. Weah was the one who was supposed to judge our people breaking coups, this. Now you have the authority, you have the gavel. What are you doing to curtail drugs? You have young people that consume over 75%. And bulk of them, they are in the streets. Some of whom are breadwinners of our family that they carry away to the street from their home to the street are drugs addicts.
Do you hold a view that in the case of this 19 million drug and the snail pace at which the regime is working, do you hold a view as expressed by many that the state is being used to shield the cartel?
So, they are neither can be paired or can be coupled with where relative to corruption that then share and roll on the carpet of this regime. So we have people who, in fact, in the first 100 days, right, they were people who the government appointed and they were that qualified. And the court of conduct said people should declare an asset. But because they were criminally operating, they didn't do so. Mr. Boga had to suspend over 400 people. Now they have their records where people, carry out mass corruption. The only thing that Mr. Parker did was to suspend them. There was nothing
pending investigation.
Was the investigation. And even if there were investigation done, what's the verdict? Whether that person or people were guilty or not, what's the verdict? So they will just suspend you, just move on in the public eye. You're going to sit. And then, now to this case. What they are doing, they are carefully handling this case. You got to know that there are persons of interest in the regime who are connected with the 19 million worth of cocaine case.
So believe so too.
So believe so. With current happenings, with the scope of relativity, what has been happening with mass corruption under Mr. Parker to this case, there are people of concern, of interest, that Mr. Parker see dearly to a heart that you don't want to bring to book and say, oh, to the Liberian people, this is the person, or these are the people who are bringing jobs in your country. So he prefer the people who are the state, the people, a minute number of people who find interest in over the state. He prefer few people who are destroying the majority of our father and mother, sons and daughter lives.
And so has remained taciturn.
So if you say taciturn, we spoke on this before.
On this 19 million, the last hope of the people.
Categorically should have not come out to give you a clear dichotomy on how
no direction. Suba has provided no direction for the masses. The masses are languaging in confusion.
Suba directed the masses for since before even the 19 million work just came out.
The urgency of this one, I've still not felt the urgency of this 19 million jobs. Especially that you believe that
we are coming on July 26th, we are marching against drugs. That's a clear direction of our people.
Okay. 0776-104-104.
Let me come in. Before you take calls, Abu, let me just clarify a few things here. From the onset of the administration and before our march for jobs and justice on April 14, we identified 75 counts, and then we've always understood that Liberia is a drug-infested country. So we did not envisage that there would have been a particular case of 19.2 million bust, cocaine scandal in the country. But it was like an all-encompassing understanding that this country is drug-infested. And that's the reason under the Barako administration, we said that Liberia is metabolizing poison. The national economy is lubricated by forbidding cargo. And the country is drifting in an anesthetic fog of contraband capitalism. To break it down for you, or for the audience, right? You cannot look at common Liberians, ordinary citizens, where they're smoking that Lao, they're smoking that Mary Jean and Azaza, and then you put in suspect tag on them. But then where you have the Pablo Escobar, Pacho, you have the Greta Blanco and all these people, the Daoud Ibrahim of this country operating a chemical underworld of drugs in this country. You cannot arrest them. So the Vanguard Party understands that the country is infested with drugs.
Okay.
And you have state actors who have been implicated, but because the regime wants to protect them, that's the reason they're not come out. On July 26th, celebration will come out to ensure that we expose them, we expose the state, that Liberia is a narco state, that Liberia has become the hotbed in the informal economy of all drug laws in the world.
Okay, thank you very much. 0776 104 104 500 104. We take three calls and then we call it a day. Time is up. Good morning. No, I'm sorry. Good morning. Okay. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning. How are you?
I'm okay. Quickly, to the point.
Quickly, my name is Eugene X-Lewin, and I call from the Office of the Student Education Committee this morning. I want to say good morning to student guests, Brother David and Brother Seafors, two of the best intellectuals nowadays. And I also want to extol the analysis on range of issues being discussed.
Okay, thank you very much. Commendation. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, good morning. My name is Alex.
Go ahead. Okay. Good morning.
Yeah, good morning, brother. Good morning to my conference in studio there. My name is Otis Vagre. I join you from Ghana to that zero. So that means thank you to the studio for that elaboration. So let me use the media to call on the young Liberians because they just killing Liberians, young Liberians, especially young Liberians. Let me use the media to call on young Liberians to join SOUP, the Student Unification Party, to that 26, to choose the government that we are fed up with this mess.
Okay, John Soup. Good morning.
Good morning, boss.
Good morning. You're the final caller. Quickly.
How you doing? Thank you for the program. You know, those things, it's coming to the country, and I want you to believe this, and don't feel bad. I'm not right alone. This just got around.
Okay, but we have the duty and responsibility to hold our government responsible. And it is not a justification because it's happening XYZ. The state surrenders all of everything in the machinery to the government to deal with these things. So, gentlemen, listen to the call. All the phones are ringing, and we can't take all because of time. We're 3 minutes after 10. So, in 30 seconds, your parting comment. But I think the masses are in support of what you're doing. But let's hear you. How do you like to leave us?
Yeah, so the masses are in support of what we're doing is no surprise because all of what we have come to responsibility are the masses flag. So we want to have them informed that on July 26, the most powerful man, Comrade Ayolo Chairman Kajo Odizos Mobile, will be leading there along with Megan Kajo Banga Secretary Party on July 26 celebration to march for jobs and justice. Thank you.
Thank you very much, brother Abu. We say thanks to the family of Freedom FM for availing the platform to us to come here to discuss national issues that affect Liberian students, that affect Liberian people en masse. So we love to say that on the July 26th celebration, the Liberian people should come out in their numbers to resist the tyranny and the reactionary disposition of the Barack administration to ensure that democracy is inherent in the voice of the people. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Thank you very much, David. And of course, CFAS, the very two brilliant Liberian students, of course, engaging the public discourse right here on Freedom 87.9, the People's Radio. My name is Abu Sharif, and of course, Austin Kawa was here. We're going to be here tomorrow. Until we see you, do have a wonderful time. Bye-bye.
Ayo, 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 ayo.